Welcome back to Make It Mondays, and this week I'm working on a new commission, and it is going to be a shirt for an old style Pooh Bear. There is a child in my life who really loves him, but this one is the older version, so he doesn't come with the shirt. We happen to like the shirt, so I'm going to make a shirt for him out of some nice soft red yarn. So I've taken some measurements. I'm going to cast on, and I'll be back, show a little bit more about how it's working up. So here is Pooh Bear's little shirt as we're working it up, and it's time for another decrease. So I am doing a edge stitch, and then I'm going to knit two together, work across, and then knit two together on the other side, leaning in the other direction. So that's how this is working. I am going to do about 8 more rows before I split for the front and back. So I'll be back in a bit to show how that works. Okay, so now it's time to separate for the sleeves. So I'm actually going to keep going across, and then I'm going to knit back. This is also where the decreases are going from once every 8 rows to once every 3 rows. So I'm just going to work all the way across. And when I get to that last stitch on the second needle, then I'm going to turn and work my way back. And this is going to be the back. Because Pooh Bear typically has a V-neck t-shirt, I am actually going to be doing some short rows on the front. So that's what's going to be next for all of this. So slipping the stitches so they lie correctly and knitting them together. Knit the last stitch and then turn around. And I'm going to work up 9 rows, and then I'll be back to show you how the short rows are worked for the front. So I've done the first 2 rows on the front of this shirt. I'm going to take the decrease now. Then we're going to work across until there's 3 stitches left on the needle. Bring the yarn to the front, slip the stitch, bring the yarn to the back, slip it back to the left-hand needle, and turn the work. So that's a wrap and turn. And it's going to be a couple more rounds of that as I get closer to the top of the shirt. Again, this just makes a little bit of a V-neck without dropping all the stitches. So without binding off the stitches here or having to decrease a whole bunch. So I'm going to keep going, doing a couple more decreases on this side, doing the wrap and turn on this side. I'm going to work all the way across, then do the same thing over here. I'll be back to show you how everything works up at the end of the shirt, or end of the body of the shirt. So I've worked up both sides of the front, and now I'm going to do a purl bind off across the front, the back, and the other side, leaving that little V for the front of his shirt. So bringing the yarn to the front, purling into the second stitch, passing the first one over, and doing that all the way across this front section. Okay. And then when I get to this last stitch, I'm actually going to stitch it together with the first stitch from the back, so there's not a big old hole. So purling those 2 together and passing the stitch over, and continuing all the way across. So I'll be back in a bit to show you how the sleeves are picked up. That is the little tiny arm eye for his little arms. So So I'll be back in just a bit. So here I am ready to pick up the second sleeve. I'm having a reasonably long side or long end in order to weave it in later. I'm going to start right at the bottom of the slip stitches, start my needle, pick up a stitch. So in my patterns, I call this pick up and knit. A lot of patterns will just call this pick up. It really depends on who wrote the pattern. So then I am doing a reverse E cast on to get the number of stitches to match what I need, so it doesn't pucker overly badly at the sleeve. So it is pick up 2, reverse E cast on 1 for this slant. My normal is picking up and knitting 3 and E cast on 1. So that's the all the way around. Going to quickly double check counts. And then I'm going to pull the first tail to the inside of the body. And then I'm just going to be going around and around and around, binding off purlwise. And then the little shirt will be done, and I'll be back to show you how Pooh Bear likes it. And here is Pooh Bear all done in his new shirt. So his neck ribbon doesn't come off, but otherwise, shirt is done, and it actually fits reasonably well. And of course, as soon as I finished it, the person that this is for is wanting a different color shirt as well. So there's going to be another one possibly showing up on the other social media platforms. But we will see you next time on Make It Mondays. Bye!